Time is probably one of the most precious things we have as humans. Yet I personally never realized how fast time flies and how much time I could waste because of maybe one or two bad decisions, or I should simply say because of a very poor time management strategy. Coming back from my 2-month internship where I had way less time to dedicate to sports and to content creation, I realize now since I'm back how much time I had every single day and how much I could accomplish. I then tried to remember what has helped me to grow my YouTube channel while being at university, and here are 8 tips that I think could benefit you as well. First thing first, I noticed that time management is not about being productive 100% of each day. As I've always seen productivity influencers, YouTubers talking about time management and read books about it as well, I thought managing your time equaled being productive. And in a way, it is quite accurate. If you manage your time well, then you'll be able to reach your productivity peaks and be able to achieve more, and this will probably lead you to some type of success. Now, if you manage your time well enough, then it means you're able to find a correct balance in between being productive and exercising, hitting the gym every single day, for example, or having some time to socialize and be with your friends, or find some more time to focus on your hobby or on reading. Managing time means to me finding a perfect balance and being able to associate productivity and living on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. Now, I find time management very interesting and entertaining because it has this kind of nesting doll system. If you want to start from zero with a time management strategy, I would advise you to start with to-do lists. This very tiny task where you can spend probably 5 minutes thinking and writing about what you need to do throughout the day can probably save you hours of boredom and unproductive nor beneficial activities. I used to do everything digital when it came to to-do lists, and I have this app on my phone and iPad, which is my main device, called To-Do. It is a very intuitive app that has the very basic features of a to-do list system, the name of your task, a timeline, a sorting system depending on the type of task we are talking about, and whether this task should be considered as more or less important than others. The app is also very convenient since it also syncs with my Google Calendar app, which means that I have a very clear vision of my daily calendar and my tasks for the day. Now, I still use it sometimes, especially when I'm on the go and I need to write something down that needs to be done by the end of the day, and if I don't write it, I would forget about it. But lately, whenever I'm home, I just simply write physical to-dos. I recently just enjoyed the feeling of paper and the good old feeling of writing with a fountain pen, which somehow reminds me of how chill high school was. Something that I would say you need to be careful with when it comes to to-dos is the fact that you should never overestimate yourself and think you can achieve dozens of tasks under 24 hours. This has happened to me a lot, and the only thing that you're going to achieve is to lower your self-confidence because you're going to convince yourself that you cannot achieve enough in a day, and it will just make you lose hope and motivation. I think keeping it under 5 tasks a day is already a great start if you're just getting started with time management. And this is where the nesting doll system comes in. How can you apply a certain level of importance in between different tasks? Of course, I'm aware of the urgent and important ones. This is a very different topic, and I'm not going to enter this topic yet. That will be for another video. But whenever you're done thinking, writing down your tasks that need to get done throughout the day, you really have to sit down and select the most important one, and this will be the highlight of your day. This is a concept from the book Make Time, which was probably one of the first productivity books that I've ever read. Setting a highlight for each of your day is a great middle step in between long-term goals and short-term tasks. In a way, it is a very efficient way to help you slow down and to bring satisfaction to your daily life. Okay, think about this. My own example would be talking about running a YouTube channel. Running a successful channel means working weekly on new videos, always finding a topic to bounce back on, a topic that will interest the viewer and give him value for free. And this takes a lot of time. And even though you will make that one video that will go over 1 million views, you still need to keep going in order to create a self-automated business. Now, this is very long-term oriented, but it's still useful to keep in mind the direction you're going for. However, it can sometimes feel quite pointless as you put in a lot of work without seeing any immediate results. And here comes the highlight of your day. The middle step between this blurry long-term goal of running a YouTube channel and daily tasks that need to be done. For me this week, my highlight of each day was to write 500 words for the script of the video you're watching right now. And instead of having a long-term goal of, I know I need to write down 2,000 words for next week, which seems to be quite of a challenge for me, that I would tend to skip every single day, well, I simply sit down to think and write somehow 500 words about my topic. Once my highlight is accomplished, then for sure, whatever other tasks I might have on my to-do or other tasks that I couldn't get done throughout the day, I will still be proud and satisfied with my actions. Now, I talked about writing for my script here, but your highlight can be whatever you know will bring a good mood and satisfaction at the end of your day. Whether it is to go out with your friends for dinner, to go hit the gym for an hour, it doesn't really matter. What matters is the impact it will have on your mind when it is done. Now, to keep going with nesting those strategies and to make sure that you will accomplish your highlight and your other tasks on your to-dos, you need to start time blocking. Now, this is a very controversial topic. Some people don't really like that, some do, and I personally find it very helpful when it comes to time management strategies. Time blocking is simply another term to describe a kind of scheduling. What you need here is a basic calendar, your to-dos, and your highlight. What you're going to do is that you're going to spread your tasks throughout the day or week and give it a defined time step. So for example, I set 1 hour work block each day of this week to make sure I would accomplish my highlight of completing my script for this video. Now each day is different, and sometimes I had class, others I had other things to do, so it's all about juggling with your calendar and fitting this work block as perfectly as possible. Now I know a lot of you watching my videos are working a full-time job, and I know it can be quite tricky to manage all of those things all together. But if you're working a full-time job without that many extra hours, you know that at around 5-6 p.m. you're free to go, and you know that this is the time where you can spend some time on your highlight and your small tasks, so you can already put in your calendar what you need to do when you're off work. Now again, since time management has this nesting doll pattern, we have to go deeper in order to understand the next principle. And the next principle is the basics and the reason why I like time blocking, and it's the famous Parkinson's law. If you're not familiar with this topic, there is this idea that work expends to fill the time allotted for its completion. And this might be the reason why you take way longer than necessary to complete a task. I personally am the perfect example of this, and I think that 90% of university students are as well. Let me explain. I realize now as a final year vet student that for my whole entire university years, I followed the same work pattern. Whenever an assignment was due for a future deadline, which probably was 3-4 months far from the day it was assigned to me, I would not put any effort before 2 to 3 last weeks before the deadline. However, when the deadline was approaching, I would work a lot onto that thing and would always get it done on time. This shows that the longer time I had to accomplish things, the less I would make progress on it. However, the more restricted my time was, the more productive I would get. And this idea that work expends to fill the time allotted for its completion is now seen in my daily calendar. I know that if I give myself 4 hours to write a script, shoot and edit a video, then I would get it done in 4 hours. I also know that if I give myself an hour for my gym session, then I would definitely manage to make my training fit under an hour. And the list goes on and on and on. And of course you gotta be realistic, because I know it would be a total BS to tell myself that I should block an hour on my calendar, script, shoot and edit a 10 to 14 minutes video, because that could never happen. Now that we've seen a bit of the starter pack for a beginner time management strategies, here are some things that I still try to apply to my life to manage my time in a better way. Sometimes you just gotta take a bite of the cake and not eat the whole thing at once. Some things such as writing a script can be split into smaller tasks, instead of trying really hard to get to the final point at once. This week and most of the week are the same for me, and I can't really put myself to sit down and spit 2,000 to 3,000 words in a row. Instead, well, I tell myself that I will split this task into 3-4 different ones that I will spread throughout my week. And this way I'm making sure to get it done on time without overwhelming nor discouraging myself every single day. For now, my entire life can be basically divided into 2 different things, university and YouTube, and for one or another I have to get things done every single day. For example, whenever I'm studying for university or working on a project or an assignment, then I remember I had something to do for my channel and I completely change topic and move on to writing some words from a new script or finding new inspiration for videos, and this is where task batching comes in. Batching is a simple productivity strategy that involves grouping similar tasks together to complete in one time period, and its main goal is to avoid you from multitasking and basically avoid context switching. Now, if your smartphone is perfectly capable of switching in between 2, 3 or 4 apps at the same time and working perfectly on each of them, well, you as human are unfortunately not capable of doing so, simply because no matter how smart you are, it requires a lot of mental effort and time to focus on the task you jumped to. But again, as time management is a perfect nesting doll system, time blocking and task batching are extremely related. For example, whenever I started to see some collaboration offers or YouTube related emails in my inbox, I would instantly open them as they would come in and try to reply more or less straight after opening them. simply because I was very excited to see this growing, but it wasn't as beneficial as I thought it would be. Since then, I decided to change my strategy, and I am now allocating 30 minutes to 1 hour each day to check my inbox, see if there are any interesting or eye-catching emails, and there I would take the time to reply to every single emails. At the same time, I would also take the opportunity to contact brands I would like to work with, or to find some emails from people I would love to connect with. Here, I managed to batch together reading and clearing my inbox, replying to potential collaborators, and establishing a first contact with brands, people, and companies I admire. Here we talked about emails because it is the most common task people have to get done in their day, but it applies to plenty of different things. The consequences of batching are the same for everything. It promotes deep work and focus, since you only focus on one task, or at least on very similar ones. Then you somehow calibrate your brain to think within a specific logic, and you definitely will enter a state of peak concentration and peak performances that will surely enhance your productivity. The next point that goes by with everything that I mentioned previously is key to a good time management, and it is to be fully in control of your time, meaning you gotta learn how to say no to people. The Sasha from 2 years ago who thought its projects weren't that meaningful would tend to prioritize others' personal feelings and vision of itself rather than prioritizing its own goals. Now things have taken a different turn, and since I managed to learn how to say no and to prioritize my own business over anything else, then I started seeing growth on my channel. But that's not all. For example, if someone would ask me to go for a lunch with them, or to go party or have a drink, and at the same time I plan to hit the gym for at least an hour, then there is no way I would skip the gym, because I know that this would be the most beneficial thing for me to do. And when it comes to time blocking, task batching, and everything we've been talking about previously in this video, you will not stick to anything on your calendar if you do not first learn how to say no to people and to prioritize your own self and projects. Just as everything in life, it's all about learning, then applying, then falling and adjusting things to your own life so that they fit perfectly to your own personality. If all of this worked for me, it could work for you, or maybe half of those tips will work for you, or maybe none. One thing for sure that is very relevant to mention is that productivity comes in a wave pattern. Sometimes you will feel more or less productive than others, because sometimes you will have a very joyful day full of good news that give you energy and motivation to work, and sometimes you will have tough days where productivity and getting things done is going to be the biggest challenge of your life. Well, once you know all of this, you have everything under your control for a great time management strategy to find a perfect balance in between getting things done and enjoying life. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found something interesting and that you could take something from it. If not, well, I'm sorry you wasted your time. And anyways, as always, I'll meet you in the next one. Bye-bye.